So sorry, I got cut off there. Anyway, as I was saying, there's obviously a reference to Nietzsche, and there's obviously a reference to Proust in Little Miss Sunshine. But what I don't think many people picked up on was that there was a reference to Camus. It was very subtle. And the key thing here was that there was one joke in the film, which I think when I first saw it, I definitely did understand the sentiment of it, but I was skeptical at first as to whether or not this really was the sentiment of it. Because I've been going through an Albert Camus phase, and it's natural that I'd want to read Camus references into it. But looking back on it, I really can't understand any other explanation for this joke except for the one I'm about to provide, so here goes. Uh, you'll notice that Steve Carell's character, Frank, is a Proust scholar, and mind you, I don't think that, well, okay, there's going to be a spoiler in the course of this video, so in case you're worried about finding out the ending, you want to watch the film first, definitely, because it's a beautiful work of art, I definitely advise that you do that before you watch this, and to lessen the risk that you'll spoil it for anyone else. Proust was influential in the writing of this, but I think also Camus was, because that was, I think that of all the jokes that I noticed, this one was the most high-end, highbrow joke, and I think it's, however, I think that if I'm right about the context of the joke, it would suggest that there are a lot of other jokes and a lot of stuff beneath the surface and a lot of stuff that was intended, which may not have not even made it fully into the movie, which one can pick up on. This is the fact that Steve Carell's character, who's a Proust scholar, whenever they're pushing the van, always mentions, did I mention to everyone that I'm a Proust scholar? And, I suppose, looking back on it, I mean, one could read some kind of arbitrary context into it, like, well, he's doing manual labor or something like that, and it's ironic because he's doing manual labor and he's supposed to be a professor or a scholar of some sort. I wouldn't read that into it at all. I think that would reflect a horribly elitist point of view on my part. I don't see any reason why a scholar can't do manual labor unless one feels called upon to totally devote oneself entirely to unscholastic activities. So I think that the really deeper irony there was that it was a reference to Albert Camus' The Myth of Sisyphus. This Greek myth, called the Myth of Sisyphus, which Camus brought existential meaning to by suggesting that we are all in the position of the Greek mythological character of Sisyphus. There's a man who had to push a boulder up a hill just to watch it tumble down. And you can see this recurring theme of the absurdist mentality in and throughout the film. For instance, every one of the protagonists essentially fails in one way or another. The grandfather, and here the spoilers are going to get a bit thick, so I would advise you revisit if you haven't watched the movie. Grandfather, whose basic life goal is to live, ultimately dies, and you can see very apparently the irony, because he dies right after we've really learned how much he cares about his granddaughter's success.